Aloha! This is lesson 120 from A Course in Miracles with Hope Johnson. This is a review lesson, starting with lesson 109. I rest in God. I rest in God today, and let Him work in me and through me, while I rest in Him in quiet and in perfect certainty. What a sweet thought to think first thing in the morning, huh? I rest in God today. This reminds me of the one about I need do nothing. There seems to be a lot of activity in the world. It's really activity in your mind. And that's the reason why you need do nothing, because it's all being done. You know, it's like I rest in God. That doesn't mean I'm resisting any activity. It means I'm letting God work in me and through me while I rest in quiet and in perfect certainty. This is a mental state. A lot of the times people read this and they get confused and they think they're supposed to not be doing things in the world. That is not it. The point is that you don't do anything in the world and you've never been capable of doing anything in the world. That doesn't mean you try to manipulate the perception to make it look like you're not doing anything. Not doing anything in the world is the same thing as doing something in the world. It's still something in the world.
It means you're not the body.
Mm-hmm.
Just because the body's doing something doesn't mean you have to do something with your mind, who you are.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's a really good way to put it. So, you know, it's in your mind. You're resting in God all day. You're reminding yourself that's what you do, because that's who you are. You just rest in God. The activity can be whatever it is, and you'll be here being restful in God's arms. It's really sweet. So resting in quiet too. So to rest in quiet requires seeing the quietness, seeing the stillness within everything. You know, to rest in that. It's like you're not distracted by the apparent activity. All activity is only apparent. See that? So you're not just mindlessly going into this apparent activity and listening to it. Really, you're just listening. That's how you project the activity. You listen to the ego's voice about what all this stuff means. It doesn't mean anything. So resting in quiet. So this is something that you give yourself. You know, you may seem to have a busy day. There's no day. It's really your mind. But this rest is what you give yourself when you take the first 5 minutes of your day. When you wake up, listen to this. Take a 5-minute rest to listen. Take this thought with you. I rest in God today, and let Him work in me and through me while I rest in Him in quiet and in perfect certainty. Perfect certainty is a state where you're just allowing anything that's activity of the world to fall away, because you're certain that what you want, your goal, is actually past, beyond all those things, through them, however you want to look at it, beneath them. That's another way of looking at it. You know, and it's like, for me, when I hear this too, I rest in God. It reminds me of how I can picture myself in my mind floating on a soft river just downstream, real comfortable, while I'm watching all of this activity happening on the surface. That's kind of the vision I get of how it is. And when I allow it to be like that, I can feel it like that.
I think perfect certainty means like, I am certain I am not the body. I am the still small voice that knows all this.
That knows all, yes. Yes. It's like, you know, if you don't realize that you don't want the world, you can't have perfect certainty in who you are. So it's like any moment where you realize that you would totally not keep this world. And you realize you would totally not keep this world. That's that perfect certainty. But if there's anything in the world that you find that you need to pursue mentally, this is mentally now. So that means you're listening to ego thoughts about something in the world, and something seems grippy like that. See if you could just take a moment. Just doing this 5 minutes in the morning, and then once every hour, I rest in God. That helps you to see. You just, you might not feel this right away, that you're resting in quiet and in perfect certainty whenever you practice. But your willingness to practice is getting to you to that place. So just don't give up. Keep on going. You'll see a lot of resistance from the ego saying, oh, you can't do that, or you're going to ruin everything if you do that. But, the Holy Spirit really can run your life way better than you can. There's just a transition period where you're learning how to trust in that. So, yay. So review lesson 110. I am as God created me. I am God's son. Today I lay aside all sick illusions of myself and let my Father tell me who I really am. And that's what I noticed, like earlier today, I was just having a conversation with some people, and a mother was telling me how sickly her child is and how it's hereditary, and basically he just has to live with this and stuff like that. And this is the thought that occurred to me to extend. It didn't come out of my mouth. That wasn't the appropriate thing at the time. I mean, the Holy Spirit just shows me what's appropriate. It's simple. And that's, the Holy Spirit shows you too what's appropriate to share. You could feel it because it's joyful. There's a joyful movement. That's how you know when it's the Holy Spirit. When you're coming from the ego, it's like you are fighting something. It's really interesting. There's a different sensation in the body's energy field. One feels really inspiring. One feels dispirited. It's fearful. So getting to know that, and this will help. So the thing that got extended was this thought: you are as God created you. To the boy and to the mom. You are as God created you. And all that extension is really extended to myself. So it's reminding myself that what's being presented isn't a reality. This person is still as God created him. He's not really even a person, but this being is as God created him. And there's no way he is burdened by this sickness against his will.
Limited.
Right. And I love how it's saying, today I lay aside all sick illusions of myself. Basically, that's a sick illusion of myself. Right? You can project it and say that's their sick illusion of them, but that's not really even relevant. Who cares? If I'm getting a perception of it, it's a sick illusion of myself. So then I have the responsibility and the joy of extending life through that perception. That gift is for me, right? Life, truth, those are the same thing. Right? So me just observing what's true in that moment shines a light in their mind. Right? If there's not judgment against them, if there's not projection, then you're not coming from the ego. And this is how I see it. It helps me not come from the ego, is to turn it around so it's entirely truthful. And that's basically, that is a sick illusion of myself that I made, even if it seems to be coming from another person. And let my Father tell me who I really am. So my Father told me, basically, you are as I created you. And then I extended that thought. And you are as God created you. I just extended that thought. Instead of thinking like an ego, oh, that's too bad. Oh, I hope you feel better. That kind of stuff. That's ego stuff. Right? And then whatever comes out of my mouth, I just allow that to be really joyful and led by the Holy Spirit. See? So I am as God created me. None of these illusions, none of these things that I seem to see about myself, that other people reflect back to me, that they see about me, none of that is true. It's not me.
You've got to just buy into the new mindset. And it takes a little minute of just say, hey, I'm not the body. Start out with that. I am spirit. I am as God created me. And you'll get more used to it. It'll start feeling natural after a while, but you got to lean into it and actually start training your mind this way.
Right. Within all of the upset moments that arise. Just keep practicing. And within those, and also on the half hour. This one's for 5 minutes at the end of the day. I am as God created me. I am God's son. Today I lay aside all sick illusions of myself and let my Father tell me who I really am. That's for PM. Right before you go to bed, preferably 5 minutes. Let yourself rest in that. And on the hour, I rest in God. On the half hour, I am as God created me. So hooray, everyone. I love you.